It changed his entire business. Now he has a message that Goliath can't compete with.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I have found? Every business owner has a story like that. And when we discover it, I didn't create that story. I discovered it through our process. It bolsters his confidence. Now he goes out and speaks to, high schools and colleges and their sports teams and gives out his book everywhere because he has greater confidence because he's not making anything up.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. How do you stand out in a crowded marketplace and instantly position yourself as the trusted authority? Today, we're diving into the transformative power of authorship without the pain of writing. Imagine that. Meet Michael and Caleb DeLon, the father-son duo who run Paperback Experts. In 2013, Michael escaped his own professional prison by publishing his first book titled On Marketing, which completely changed how prospects perceived his expertise. Now recognized as America's foremost authority on credibility marketing, Michael and Caleb help busy professionals create Amazon bestsellers in just 24 total hours of their time through their profitable book pathway. Join us as we explore how their unique system is helping experts across industries convert their knowledge into compelling books that attract clients and increase profits.
Michael, Caleb, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Wow. Michael, thank you. Yeah, great. Tanya, that sounds great. I'm not sure where you got that, but I want to model that, okay? That was awesome.
Awesome. I'll send it to you. You can have it. Yeah, no problem.
That's great. That's great.
That's what Tanya does, man. She can just write people. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
Pull it out of them. I'm telling you. Hey, so listen, welcome, guys. Welcome so much. We love what you do, and we want to get into it a little bit. But give us a little bit of background, though, so the audience knows what you're talking about. Michael, you want to go first and give us a little background, and Caleb, give us a little background on you too.
Yeah, give me about 2 minutes and I will just fly through my whole background and then you'll have anything you need about me and then Caleb can jump in there. So I'm a follower of Christ. I got married in 1990. Okay. And my wife and I, we both grew up in church, but nobody ever taught us how to be married. And so the first 5 years of our marriage were like this. I mean, my wife and I are complete opposites. And we had no idea how to make a marriage work until we went to a family life weekend to remember marriage conference in Indianapolis. And they shared with us God's blueprints for marriage. I didn't know he had any. So we grabbed his blueprints and we started applying them in our marriage. This was back in the 90s, right? And our marriage got better. 1995, Caleb came along. And then 2 years later, his brother Jeremy came along. And I was in Christian radio marketing and sales back in the 90s. And you know what I learned after 2 years of selling Christian radio? Tanya, nobody wants to buy Christian radio. They want to sell their products and services. So I had a decision to make. I could either become really good at selling or really good at marketing. And I chose marketing. So I bought the books. I went to the conferences. I followed the gurus and I learned how to do marketing for small business owners. And my business grew in the 90s as I'd help my clients grow. Well, at the end of the 90s, God led us out of that to a startup.com back when Amazon was just getting started. And that company was doing great. And they were way ahead of their time, which means they went bankrupt. So I'm standing in my living room one day looking at the ceiling going, all right, God, what am I supposed to do now? And he spoke to my heart. He's like, Michael, I want you to ministry to marriages. And I want you at family life. That ministry that changed our marriage so many years ago. And I said, okay. So we interviewed. They said, yeah, come serve with us. Oh, by the way, you got to go raise your own support because it was part of Campus Crusade for Christ. So we became missionaries, had to raise our own support, moved from Indiana down to Little Rock, Arkansas, which is where the world headquarters was. I thought I hit nirvana. Why would I ever do anything else but build godly marriages? So for 6 years, I was working there, serving, using my marketing and stuff, climbed the corporate ladders. And I was on the leadership team of Family Life. And then they started going through corporate reorganizations. And after the third reorg chart came out, my name was no longer on the leadership team. And they started shuffling me around the ministry to do different jobs. And that began that 2-year prison term when I was at a job I hated at a ministry I loved. So after 2 years, I looked up at the ceiling again and said, Lord, I got to get out of this place. And he's like, what do you want to do, Michael? And I said, I want to help business owners with marketing because they struggle with it. And I love it. And he said, all right, go. So on January 1st of 2013, I escaped from prison. I left the ministry. I started a marketing consulting firm in Arkansas, Little Rock. And I would come out and I would talk with you, Michael. I'd say, hey, I can help you grow your business, right? We'd have a great conversation. And you'd say, Michael, this all sounds really cool. Tell me, who else have you been helping recently? And I said, well, I've been helping build marriages and families at Family Life. And you'd say, oh, that's so honorable, Michael. Way to go. Look at the time, though. I've got another meeting coming in. And you'd usher me right out the door. I couldn't get a client for anything. So I went to church one day, second floor. I was pacing the hallways going, God, how do I help Michael? Because I know I can. God gave me the idea to take all of my marketing ideas and put them in a book. So you mentioned it, on marketing. I wrote and published this thing back in 2013. And then I took it and I'd call Michael. I'd set an appointment. I'd mail a copy of my book to him. And a week later, I'd walk into his office from that meeting, and there it was. My book was on his desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book. And in that meeting, Michael, you say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that? And you'd hire me and you'd refer me to people. I started gaining clients. And I said, the only thing that changed, Tanya, is the fact that I had a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, why don't business owners do this? And so I went back to my church, built a spreadsheet of every single step it took me to create my book, built a system around all of that eliminates all the barriers, and created what today is Paperback Expert, where we help creative, high energy business owners create a book without writing a word, make them Amazon bestselling authors, and then we teach them how to use their book to gain clients. Whew.
Love it.
Love that whole story. We have so many parallels here, Michael. You may not know. I grew up in the radio world, right? Well, when I say that, I was in there in the media world for 18 years, most of that time housed at radio. So you're right. People don't want to buy your Christian station or your adult contemporary station or rock and roll. They want to buy commercials that get them results.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, when our first BrandFace book came out in 2013 as well.
Okay.
And so immediately, you know, people would ask the question, how many books have you sold? How many books have you sold? It's like, that's not what it's about. You don't understand. If you go into writing a book and it's nothing but how many books did you sell, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, for sure.
I tell people it's so rare for anybody to become rich off of selling books, but you can become very rich off of having a book to give you the credibility to sell your other services. Sure. And so that we're on the same page. Never forget the first time I met Caleb. It's like, okay, we're on the same wavelength as these folks. Let's bring them on as partners to help help our clients get their compelling stories out there in a book.
And gain that credibility.
Yeah.
Caleb, tell us about you. Yeah. What passion drove you into the family business now?
Yeah, I had a front row seat to everything starting up. I was about 18 when my dad started the business, and so saw him bring it from the ground up and get that first book out there. In like mid-college, I started working with him as one of the writers, actually, because I've got a degree in communications, did a lot of writing in high school and college. I've always been a big reader. So I would work with clients to develop their book idea into an outline, record all the content, get hours and hours of transcripts, and then craft that spoken word into the written word. So I did that for a few years, went off to seminary, got an MDiv, did some other work for a couple of years. And then in 2021, came back to the family business full time and am now COO, basically overseeing all the good people who actually do the work around here.
That's awesome.
What a humble way to handle that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
So tell me this. I'm just going to dig right into the questions, okay? Because keeping in mind our audience is a lot of coaches, consultants, but 80-something% of our clients are authors, right? Authors, speakers, podcasters, sometimes all three. So there are a lot of people that are sitting there thinking, okay, I know there's a story in me. But they're literally thinking, I do not have the time to do this. Or I'm going to throw two things at you at once, let you tackle it because I know you're complex guys. All right. So first one is a time issue, even a time to sit down with somebody and talk through this, right? The other thing is imposter syndrome. Do I really
have it in me? I mean, would anybody actually read my book? What if it failed? You know, and you guys can
All
take
those
those
limiting beliefs.
exactly. Take those in any either order you want. The time issue, the imposter syndrome issue.
So time, it takes hundreds of hours to write a book. If you're doing it on your own, then all those hundreds of hours are going to need to appear on your calendar. So be warned, it will take lots and lots of time.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of busy business owners end up working with some sort of team, whether that is a full service ghostwriting publishing team like ours, or whether it's just a developmental editor who can help them think through their thoughts. It's a classic case of buying back your time. You could do it yourself, or you can say, actually, my zone of genius is running my business, prospecting, serving clients, bringing in the big bucks that way. And I will choose to then give some of those, some small bucks, to somebody else to help me with all of this stuff. And a lot of the details of creating a book falls into that stuff category that a business owner is best served partnering with somebody.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense.
Pay the authority, man. I like that a lot. It took me a long time to figure that out as a businessman. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18. I worked 6 months for one guy, and then I've been on my own ever since. But it took me a long time to make a lot of mistakes. And one of the ones I made was trying to think I could just do it all. And paying the professional is definitely the better game plan for busy entrepreneurs. So that's a big takeaway.
It totally is, because you're either going to spend time to buy money, or you're going to spend money to buy time. It's your choice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. There's our first takeaway.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, that's a DeLon original, by the way. That's a writer down there.
I love it. We're going to give you cred for it too, Michael.
There you go. Let's talk about imposter syndrome, because it's really funny. I had that a long time ago. And what helped me gain confidence, honestly, is getting my book out there and putting my thoughts into print, because when it's in print, it's a different thing than me just talking, right? Mm-hmm. But let me tell you a story about one of our clients who came to me, I would say with imposter syndrome, because he had a story to tell, but he wasn't telling it. He didn't think it was important at all. Okay, so he's an attorney, personal injury attorney down in Florida now. And when he came to me, he was struggling. He was David against two monster Goliaths, okay, in his market. And he's like, man, I don't know what to do. I need to compete, but I can't on their, and I said, hey, that's right. Tell me your story. Who are you? Why do you live in Florida? And he said, well, I moved here on a college scholarship, and I was going to go to the Professional Baseball League as a pitcher. And I said, well, that's really cool. What happened? He's like, well, second year of college, I threw my arm out. I had to have surgery and rehabilitation. He said, I killed my baseball career, killed my college scholarship. And so I had to pivot. So I got a degree and I became a sheriff, and then I decided I want to become an attorney. And now I help people who, personal injury stuff and who get stuff. And I'm like, William, have you ever told that story to anybody? He's like, no, I haven't. Kind of personal, and nobody cares. I'm like, oh yeah, they do. So we took that story and I crafted his book, and this title of his book is When Life Throws You a Curveball.
Love it.
Okay. By William Franke, baseball player turned attorney. And now he walks on the morning TV shows or whatever he's doing and said, hey, if life's throwing you a curveball and you got hit by a big truck or slipped on a banana peel at work, give me a call, because I understand where you are. And I want to make sure that first we get you healthy and strong. And second, we get you the settlement you deserve. Why don't you get a free copy of my book at my website, and we'll talk about how to get you what you deserve. It changed his entire business. Now he has a message that Goliath can't compete with. Mm-hmm. And you know what I have found? Every business owner has a story like that. And when we discover it, I didn't create that story. I discovered it through our process. It bolsters his confidence. Now he goes out and speaks to high schools and colleges and their sports teams and gives out his book everywhere, because he has greater confidence, because he's not making anything up.
Right. I love it. We say all the time that you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. And it's funny, like people, us humans, we need somebody to give us permission.
We do.
It's like, and you guys do that. And you're able to discover, look, I'm giving you permission. This is a good story. You need to let people know they're going to resonate with it, and they're going to connect with you because of it.
They really are. And people want transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can be transparent in your life and say, yeah, this is what happened to me, people bond with that. And when we bond, we reach the emotions, and every decision we make is emotionally driven.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's so true. You know, perception, right? And you just don't know when you dial in your ideal customer, like we talk about, and you build a messaging and you send it to them. You know, that I literally love that vulnerability piece, because you know, people can look at that guy's so successful, I'll never be like him, right? That girl, she's accomplished so much, I'll never be able to catch her, and stuff like that. And then when you can share something personal in a book like that, and these are the things I overcame, because every human overcomes things, right? We all have the obstacles, and then it all of a sudden makes it more personable. Like, oh, okay, well, they have been through some things. Maybe they do understand me. Yeah.
And in the world of business, one of the greatest things that any of our clients ever said to us, this was several years ago. Her name's Leslie, and she lives in New Orleans. She said, "Oh my gosh, I love my brand. Now I don't have any competitors."
Absolutely.
Because it makes you so different. So I'm going to ask you a question that I know a lot of our clients would be really interested in. Caleb, I'll direct this one to you. What's the average ROI timeline like clients see, and what factors can like accelerate those results, so that return on investment for them?
ROI timeline is between 31 days and 2 years. So 2 years, because with our process particularly, we offer a guarantee that all of our clients are going to see a 2x return on investment within 2 years of using their book. And that generalizes to anybody, regardless of whether you're working with us or not. If you are actually not just sticking your book on the shelf behind you or putting it in the corner of your office, but you're actually integrating it into your marketing, then you're going to see a return on investment, certainly within 2 years.
Yeah.
The other end of that is the 31 days, which is one of our clients who sent a simple email to her list of old prospects and said, "Hey, I have a book. Do you want a copy?" She got 80 responses, mailed out 80 books, set a bunch of appointments, closed 5 clients, and within 31 days of her book being out, she had more than paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love that, because it is about using it. You can't just sit it on a shelf. It's kind of like a brand. You got to put it out there every day. And everybody says, oh, it takes so much time to build a brand. It takes so much time for your book to bring us results, right? Those kind of things. And I say, no, time is not a factor, right? Because if I give you an amazing credibility piece of book and you put it on your shelf, okay, it doesn't really matter whether it's day 1 or 2 years from now and you do nothing with it, then it's going to be 0, right? So time is not the factor. It's the impressions or the engagements, right? Yeah. Every time you get that book in front of somebody, that it becomes the very next opportunity to make your money back, right? Not only make your money back, but that's like minimum. I mean, exponential results from a book or from a brand. And that's why I think we're so well aligned here. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, well, you know, what you're saying without saying the word is consistency over time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? One of our clients, Brad Pistol, he's a financial advisor in Missouri. He wrote his first book with us in 2014. He wrote a second book with us in 2020. And I just talked with him last week. He says, Michael, I've had 7 record years in a row. This guy's a top financial advisor. When I talked to him 3 years ago, he said, I've got a 40x ROI already. And that was 3 or 4 years ago. He is killing it because of his consistency. His messaging is spot on. His books are integrated in everything he does. And he doesn't just put them on his website, say, download a free copy. He does that. He actually mails them out to people.
Yes.
If you're a living, breathing soul and you want a copy of his book, he'll give you one, because he understands you may not be his client, but you know somebody who should be.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even that, you don't know the far-reaching ripple effects of it. But yeah, you're saying my magical words, man. Use it and use it consistently. That is so key. You cannot just do it once. You have to do it all the time.
I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's like, I got a new brand. Good. Now I can go do something else. No, right? Just because you publish a book, yippee skippy. Do you know how many books are published every year?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to put it out there. Got to put it out there. Okay. Go ahead, Michael.
And here's the thing that we bring to the table as well is we include marketing systems that we give to our clients, and we teach them, because again, having a book, great. Understanding how to make money with your book. So we have systems of marketing that we've developed and we give and teach our clients, and these systems work month in, month out, because we use them in our business too. So that's one of the things that I think separates us is we want you to grow your business and impact like Brad, like Lynn, like all of our clients, because they're using their book.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have said it better. Now I'm going to toss in as the last question here for today. And I'd love to have you guys back on again, because this subject matter is so important to our listeners specifically, right? And our clients. I want to touch on the taboo subject of AI, okay? Because we get saddled with this silliness too, right? And it's like, well, I'll just have AI build my brand. We won't go into that on this show, but tune in, because that show is coming very soon to a podcast near you.
Yeah.
So I want to say, when somebody says, oh, I'll just have AI write my book, they'll handle all of that kind of stuff. What say you, Caleb?
I have tried to read a couple of books that were written by AI, and I intentionally say tried to read because I made it about 5 pages in before I couldn't stand it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with the sentences. It's correct English, but there's no soul. There's no personality.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to read it. So if you want to put out a book that people will open up and then put down in disgust, by all means, just let ChatGPT do it for you. It'll be done in 5 minutes, and you can move on and create a shoddy brand while you're at it. If you run a real business and you want some real credibility, then you've got to do it the right way. Your book needs to be you. And I think most business owners recognize that. They want the book to sound like them, to have their stories, their approach, their personality. All of that only comes when it is you behind it, either writing it yourself or working with a professional ghostwriter who can extract that from you.
Yes. Trained to extract that from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We had a guest on recently that wrote his father's biography. His father had written an autobiography in the 70s, and then he rewrote it later on, felt the charge to do that later on. And the guy had escaped the Holocaust and
Hungarian
Revolution in 1956. And 4 escapes, life harrowing escapes, including the last one with his wife. And I mean, it's pretty interesting. And I would shudder to think that some computer would write that story, because I mean, like you said, grammatically it's probably going to be okay, right? Maybe, right? And then, but there's no soul to it. Like, with the guy that writes that for his dad and mom's straight memories that were already written down, like, you can't beat that. That'll never be beaten.
No,
So,
you can't.
Move over AI.
Absolutely. And here's somebody who uses AI every single day, but different tools for different reasons that fill in the little gaps, right?
Specifics.
And make it more time efficient, but not sucking the soul from your story, right? Don't suck the soul from your story. So, and that's a Tanya quote. We'll take that. That's a BrandFace quote. Don't suck the soul from your story. So one of the things I like to say about people who mention, AI for branding is like AI has at least one thing, and one major thing that you're never going to get, and that's discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Discernment,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's never going to be able to say, based on your life experiences and all the things that right? Because it doesn't know all those things. And you could spend a lifetime trying to feed it all those things, but why wouldn't you just write it yourself, right? So anyway, so guys, we like to listen to the conversation and pull out 3 takeaways from you guys for today. So here's our 3.
Yep. The top one, of course, is you either spend time to make money or you spend money to make time. And
Michael DeLon's
quote. We'll give him that credit there. That was one of the first takeaways that I liked the best out of this episode.
Yep. And use it consistently or lose it.
Yep.
Right. That's another one. Use it or lose it. But that consistency means everything.
Yeah. And then I think we'd be remiss not to say, don't let AI make you look like a bad writer. hire Michael and Caleb and be a good writer.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase that in the words of Tanya. Don't suck the soul from your story.
There you go. That's right. That is right. You guys are so lovely. I thank you so much for coming on here. I love what you guys do. We're so well aligned in this and proud to call you our book writing partners. And thank you for your time today. And we'll definitely have you back on for our audience out there. Just hang tight.
Yes.
They're coming back.
More to come. So do you guys want to share with the audience what's the best way to get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Yeah. Paperbackexpert.com. That is the hub of all things Michael and Caleb. Free trainings, lots of videos, lots of information. Schedule a call. Paperbackexpert.com.
All right. We encourage everybody to check them out. You do have a story, so tell it.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at BrandFaceGuide.com.